um, to introduce myself, I founded Key Log Rolling about nearly 8 years ago now. But I come from a family of world champion log rollers from northern Wisconsin. My mom is a 7-time world champion, and more so than just loving competing in log rolling, she loved sharing the sport with others. And we saw the benefits of log rolling as a fun activity at summer camps, at park and rec departments, for colleges, and for resorts. And we just knew that if people had access to the sport through an easier to use piece of equipment, we could help them bring this fun activity to their guests. And it's been really fun to see all the people all around the country and around the world learning to log roll. Um, so I wanted to just start out by saying, I think, we actually, key log rolling is relatively new to resorts. Like I said, we've really been kind of had our product on the market since 2013, but we were really focused right away on summer camps and park and rec departments. And only in the last couple of years now we've grown enough that we've had the capacity to now be able to focus on resorts. And so I'll say that I just want to say it's relatively new to resorts, but it's not a new log rolling as an activity itself is not new as an activity to family fun, which is what you guys are all about, and having an entertaining, active activity for your beachfront or poolfront. So I think, it's important to know that while this is a new activity, the sport's been around for a while and people have enjoyed it for a while. It's a sport that's been around for over 100 years. So that people really like it. So it has, it's been tested in that sense, that I don't think you should be worried that people aren't going to like this activity, because you throw a key log in the water and everyone just is like, wait, what is this? We have to try this. So it's very attractive for guests and of all ages. For introducing log rolling to your resort, I just want to go over kind of some of the benefits that you might see. I mean, one, it's great in marketing, photographs and videos to put on your website to show your guests that, hey, we're trying something new, we're doing something different. We are, always thinking of kind of pushing the envelope as to what we're offering for our guests. And so I think that's pretty fun for people to see. And again, it's very eye-catching. And so to put it on, your website and your marketing materials, people are like, wait, what is this? Like, this looks like so much fun. And so it just kind of sets you apart, gives you kind of that edge, makes you a little bit different than maybe some of the other resorts or campgrounds in your area. It's very much an all ages activity, from really little kids, even up to grandparents will have fun. And I say that in two ways. One, just in the sense that very little kids can try log rolling because you can be in shallow water, like close to the beachfront. But then also, because you are like in that shallow water, it's not like you're taking kayaks or canoes or stand-up paddle boards away from the beach. It's very safe in that kind of like shallow area at the beach. Even if the really, really little kids, like no one has to stay back at the beach, and then you don't have to split up. The whole family can do it together, even if like the grandparents maybe they opt not to give it a try, but they're still right there on the beach, cheering everyone on, having fun watching. So it's very engaging, as you can like see here in this photograph. I mean, there's one person log rolling, but everyone is like engaged with what's going on and watching her learn and having fun, seeing, how everyone else is doing with it. It can be an activity that you have that's more structured and staffed, but it can also be more of like an unstaffed, unstructured activity where guests just go up and use it at free will. Um, uh, and then it also, I would say, is an activity that can generate revenue through, if you want to do rentals, or if you do some like, corporate groups or special events, you can always use log rolling as an add-on. So I think it's helpful to, when you're first thinking about, adding log rolling as an activity to your resort, to think about what are your priorities for doing it, because there's a lot of different things you could do with it. So I think, thinking about, are you adding it because you really feel like you need something new to market as a new activity for guests? And if that's the case, we have videos that you can put on your website. We have photographs that you can add. I know that if this is like one of your first or second year of adding the activity, you might not have, great photographs yet, or you haven't taken videos and stuff. So we have that for you, that you can, add to social media, put in email marketing campaigns. This is a new activity. And so be proud of it and market it to your guests and use it as, it's like I said, it's very eye catching. It's something unique. It shows that you're kind of taking that extra effort to find something new for your guests. So if you need help in thinking of ways to market it to your guests, I'm here to help you do that. So feel free to, as you begin that process, feel free to reach out to me directly about that. Are you looking for more youth activities? Are you looking for more all ages family activities, or are you looking for something just for adults? Thinking about those different groups could mean that you program it or like facilitate it in different ways. So if you are looking to add more youth activities, I'm not sure, Ashley and Lorraine, I think you guys are probably more similar in that you're not like a huge big all-inclusive resort where you would have like camps and stuff. But for those resorts that potentially have like a kids club or have like kids camps, log rolling would be a great activity to add to that program. For families, if you want it to be something where a family can like reserve time with the key log, so you might have, maybe you don't necessarily want to like rent it out, but you want it to be like a structured activity for a family where like, oh, okay, at 10 o'clock today, we've, reserved the key log and we're going to go down to the beach and all try log rolling together. Or if you want it to be, if you're trying to add something more for adults, you could, if this is again like different, I know there's a huge difference between small mom and pop resorts and big like all-inclusive resorts. So for those bigger resorts that maybe actually have structured like fitness classes, yoga or stand-up paddleboard or that kind of things, log rolling would be an activity that they could add to those scheduled fitness activities. But for some of the smaller mom and pop resorts, maybe you do want to have like an adult only log rolling happy hour, that it's just adult time down at the beach. And then because with log rolling, it is something where it's so fun, but like the kids, as with any activity that you're doing with your kids, the kids take priority. So they're going to like jump on it and hog it and stuff. So if you wanted to have like hey, it's like adult night down at the beach and we're going to have a happy hour and we're going to have a little log rolling tournament, you could do something like that. If you are hoping to generate some revenue, log rolling is certainly something that you can rent out. And like rent out the key logs, just like if you have paddle boards or kayaks or boats or things that people are going to rent, I would add log rolling like right into that. It's I guess I would say, you could fit it right into the way that you rent out other things in terms of your pricing structure. You could probably even, I would say, like at you could increase it a little bit even, like, because it is something for the whole family. So for example, if a family wants to rent kayaks or stand-up paddle boards or something, they're going to need to get one for each person. But for a key log, they can rent one for the family. So you could charge more like for the whole key log rental. Than you would possibly like for each kayak. So think kind of about like what a whole family would be willing to pay for an hour to reserve the log for themselves. Are you trying to do log rolling as a like staffed activity where you have a waterfront person down there that is that's like managing it and pulling people in and saying, hey, come try it, or teaching lessons. That's one way to go about it. Another way is just to have it be, on the beach. You can anchor it. So it's just in the same spot and people can come up and, play on it at will. I would say if that's the way that you're going to do it, having some sort of little, sign at the beachfront would be helpful and instructional, to say like, this is log rolling, this is how you do it. These are some safety guidelines. We do have that, and it comes included with your key log, kind of like this quick start poster. And it's actually like waterproof. You could like post it to a board and put it up at your waterfront. I could also like give you the PDF if you wanted to make like a bigger sign or something. And we could work with you too if you wanted to have it be a little bit more tailored towards the branding of your resort, and you wanted the if you wanted the colors and stuff, I could kind of give you, here's what you should say, here are the like graphics for it and stuff, and then you could do one on your own if that's something you wanted. But if it is an unstaffed activity, it's going to be new for people. So giving them some guidelines as to like, this is the depth that you should use it in. These are the safety guidelines. Here's some, really basic log rolling instruction. And again, like I said, that kind of comes on our quick start poster, gives people the really basic, like, this is how you stand up. This is, what the stance should be. This is how you move your feet. Just so people can, familiarize themselves with the activity. So they're not just walking up to it and they have no idea, what it is. I think that's helpful. I also think that as guests check in, or if you have like a list of activities, obviously include log rolling. And you could even, if you have some sort of like iPad or something at your register, if that's something that you do, with like a rotating thing of the activities, we have some videos that you could include in that just to show people what log rolling is. And so you can kind of give to them, hey, these are the activities that we have, and you could include log rolling as one of them. Does anyone up until this point have questions? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hey, Abby.
Yeah.
Just wondering, do you have like instructional videos like for our staff to learn
Yeah.
And then they can teach?
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that's great. I'm going to just go do a whole little like bit on staff training right now. So the great thing about log rolling is that you don't have to have expert or experienced staff. The way that you should train your staff, we have, if you wanted, I'm just going to put this out there. We do offer staff training where we will come to you on site, train your staff. That's one way to do it. But if you just want to try and see if you can kind of familiarize your staff with this and get them to do it on their own, here is what I suggest. One, send them our instructional manuals that came with your key log. If you lost that or would like digital copies that you can send to them, I can email you a PDF and you can send that around to your staff. I know people these days are very averse to reading manuals and they just want like the quick 30-second video, but I will say that here's just an anecdote. My husband, who is new to log rolling, when he first kind of like was just, I asked him to, okay, as like a new beginner, can you read this and see like what we missed? And he read the whole thing and he was like, nope, that's pretty much exactly like covers everything on how you need to learn to log roll. You just need to get people to sit it down and read it. So it's, I mean, I don't think it would take longer than 30 minutes, probably not even that long, but I would have your staff sit down, just like read through the manual to familiarize themselves with log rolling. Then we also do have videos. So we have an 18-minute instructional video that is kind of geared in two ways. One, it teaches brand new beginners how to log roll. So it's going to teach your staff how to log roll, but it also is a way for them to watch, okay, if I'm going to teach someone, this is how I should teach them to log roll. So we have that. I would then suggest that they, watch that 18-minute video. And then we do have some shorter, like quick hitting, couple minute instructional videos that then kind of breaks things down even a little bit quicker if they need a quick reminder, oh, I want to refresh myself on how to do this or do that. And then even throughout the summer, I would encourage you to have them follow us on social media because we like put out little videos, little quick hitting videos on using the logs, games to play, challenges that they might want to do, that kind of stuff. And those are all, I can send them to you, but they are just like all on our YouTube channel. But we usually like right kind of before the summer, I send a list to I send kind of like a punch list to our customers of reminders of like, remember to get your logs in the water, remember to fill them up. Like, here's an equipment check. Here are the links to all of the manuals and videos again, if you need them. So I'll be sending that as we get a little bit closer to summer. So then, but just so with your staff, again, have them read the manual, watch the videos, and then if they have some time, I would say like, have them go down, practice it before guests arrive so they're familiar with it, and then have them practice, like maybe bring some other staff that have nothing to do with log rolling or have never done it, and have them practice teaching those staff how to log roll, just so that they can get used to sorry, there was something out there, so that they can get used to kind of giving the cues and practice teaching with someone before they start teaching to guests. So that's kind of a good way to do that. Any other questions, or did that answer your question, Lorraine?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So moving just a little bit to, some of you, again, will be familiar with this. Some of you who are brand new to some of the webinars haven't seen this before, maybe haven't thought about this, but I'm sure, a big question on everyone's mind is always safety, or like guests might see it and think, oh my gosh, like, is this safe? That log rolling, I would say, has this high perceived risk, but low actual risk, for reasons I think because of like lumberjack shows and, this kind of like stereotypical idea of a lumberjack. Log rolling has this unwarranted perception of being unsafe, but actually log rolling as a sport itself, or as an activity, is very safe if you follow some pretty simple guidelines. And the reason why it's safe is that when you're standing on the log, when you're trying to log roll, if you're falling off, the reason why you're falling off is because your body weight is either moving forward away from the log into the water, or backward away from the log into the water. It's very rare that you would be standing on the log and fall. I've never seen it happen, that you'd be standing on the log and that you'd fall and that you'd like hit your head on the log. You'd have to do like a weird tuck jump thing to like stand and then fall and hit your head on the log. So typically, again, like the reason why you're falling is because your body weight is going away from the log. So because of that, the biggest safety concern, or biggest thing to keep in mind with safety, is just making sure that you have the log a safe distance away from either the pool edge or a dock. As you can see here in this photograph, they have the log perpendicular to the dock so that, the people that are, when they fall, they'll fall either forward or backwards away from the water. So making sure that the log is, secured perpendicular to any pool edge, making sure that, at your beachfront, there aren't any underwater obstructions, rocks, big boulders, things like that. Just making sure you have a clear area for log rolling.
Abby, I have another question.
Yeah.
I see there's only one anchor bag. That keeps the log from going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like side to side, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So that's thank you for noticing that. We should probably update that drawing. Yeah, you would so you would either, like in this situation in a pool, they might be like anchoring it to the side of the pool and having the anchor bag out. But I would say you want to have both sides anchored. And you can, if you are at a natural waterfront, you can either do that by, so you have the anchor straps that clip onto either end of the log, and those are on swivel hooks. And then there's a couple different ways to anchor it. One, you could use the anchor bag, and I would recommend filling it up with sand. You fill it up with about 30, 40 pounds of sand, and there's a bungee line, then you clip that to the anchoring strap, and that just then sits in the water, and you have them on either end. If you have a nice sandy beachfront, you could either use like a screw sand anchor, or like bury what's it called, cinder block under the sand, kind of like you'd anchor, some of those rave trampolines and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't, because you're in shallower water and because it's not like this big inflatable that's going to get blown away by the wind, it doesn't need like a ton of weight, but yeah, just kind of anchoring it under the sand. And you can anchor it, I would say like if you're at a beachfront, 24 to 26 inches of water, kind of like mid thigh. At a pool, the shallower end of the pool, like the 3-foot area, is a little bit easier to get on and off from the log. Another thing, this isn't necessarily a huge safety thing, but it's part of using the log correctly, but it does kind of have some safety. It's related to safety, is that it is important to fill your key log completely, or fill it with water completely. So you open up both fill ports. You can fill it either with a hose if that reaches down to your waterfront, or you can fill it with lake water, like with a funnel in a bucket, and it just takes like 3 to 4 minutes. But it's important to fill the log completely, because if you don't, like if you were just to put, the way that it works is there's a foam baffle system on the inside. So if you were just to put the empty key log in the water, it would float right. It'd be super light and it floats just right on top of the water. And if you stand on it, it's super buoyant. It would spin really fast. So that's where you want to add that mass back to it. So then the log spins like a Western red cedar log rolling log. It has that mass back to it, so it doesn't spin so fast on you. Using the training fins, definitely. I mean, again, as resorts, because you're not necessarily like having kids that are coming and learning for, weeks. They're coming and taking a lesson and learning every week. Everyone that's trying this, at least for the first year, after a while, as guests come back, especially with the youth, they'll start to get good. But I do recommend, using all 3 of the training fins. as you can see here, have one on either end and one in the center. And that'll just slow the log down enough for people to get the balance, get their footwork under them. But certainly if there is a group of young kids and they're getting good at it and they want more challenge, they can take those training fins on and off for more challenge. The biggest thing is just, if people are using, like renting it, making sure that they either, are returning all of that equipment or putting, the biggest thing would be to make sure that they're, putting those training fins back on and not losing the straps and that kind of stuff. Let's see. So the training fins and then storing it at a natural waterfront, a couple different ways. You can leave it in the water all summer long. You could just, if you have a, private beachfront and you feel comfortable, leaving it out for guests, in the water, you can just kind of leave it in one spot the whole summer. Or if you wanted to lock it up at night, but you wanted to leave it in the water, you can run like a cable lock through it and then lock it to the dock or lock it to something else. There's on either end, there are like two D bolts that you could lock it to. If you wanted to take it out of the water every night, that only takes a couple minutes. Open up the log, drain the water out. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes, have your staff, bring it out of the water and store it along with the kayaks or stand-up paddle boards or things like that. Or another thing, if you have your designated area during the day where you have the log, but then at night you don't want to take it out of the water, but you want to just like bring it over to the dock, secure it so that it's parallel with the dock, lock it up. That's another way to do that. And so let's see. I think that is sorry, I'm just making sure that I'm getting and then lastly, I just wanted to say about like special groups. If you do have, let's say like you have family reunions that are booking, or you have like a corporate group that's doing like a team building workshop or something, I definitely, would say that there are really fun ways to do kind of team building activities with log rolling. You could have, there are a lot of challenges that we have in our manuals, like different ways to structure it so that you have actually like team log rolling challenges. And so if that's something that you're interested in adding, I'm happy to help, like kind of help you figure out in terms of, how you would want to structure that price wise. But even if it is just like, if you do like a family, I guess this would be more for camps, but family camp, like at the end of the summer, a family's like renting the whole resort. This is another great activity to have as more of like, if they wanted some more structured activities, you could find some really fun things for them to do with log rolling. So I'm just going to open it up. I see we had a couple people join here a little bit through. So we actually have you, like you're able to unmute yourself if you would like to, introduce yourself or tell us like what type of resort you're at, or if you have any other questions, just feel free to shout them out to me. I'll just kind of like hang on here for a little bit and answer any questions for everyone. I guess we answered everything. I guess I will just say that, this summer, please we like to have like a close relationship with our customers. So please don't hesitate to reach out directly. And we want to help make this a really strong activity for you and your guests and your staff. So I'm hoping that this summer is going to be a great summer for everyone. I think log rolling is a great socially distanced activity. There's not a ton of contact that you have to have. Actually, the rules are that you can't touch each other. So uh, we really want to make this something that's fun for you to add, to your guests, and an activity that you can be proud of. So please, again, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or want to brainstorm any ideas. Or again, if you need any of those, photographs or videos or things to add to your marketing materials, I can send, what would be like appropriate for you if you're more of a Northwoods resort, or if you're more of an island resort, or if you have a pool, I can send, what makes the most sense for you. So thank you to everyone for joining. And I hope that you have a great weekend, and I hope we can help get you rolling this summer. Thanks so much.
Abby, I have one more quick question.
Sure.
Do you recommend more than one key log? Or like, because right now we only have the one, we haven't used it yet, just because these webinars have been awesome. And we haven't used it yet because no one knows how to use it. So I'm hoping to get these folks trained this year, or this spring, to use them. But I'm wondering if one is going to be enough. I see it really as being a huge hit.
Yeah, I would say the fun thing about having two is that it definitely feels a little bit more like a program area, like activity. As you can, I'm gonna, let's see, scroll through back. It's because with the training fins, you get the set of 3, and people will try it and they'll get some success, and then it kind of draws other people in. And then, you might have some kids that are getting good at it and they want to take one of the training fins off. So then they move to another log that has, that's a little bit more advanced or more challenge, and people just cycle through. So it definitely, like, having more than one really makes it like this activity that there's a lot of energy at the waterfront, which is fun. I mean, certainly you can start with one and people log roll, but you just have less waiting in line to try it. You have, if you are going to rent them out, you can do more of that. It's fun to have a couple in the water, because there's a lot more kind of back and forth. Some people, you're going to have kids and adults, and I obviously think that it's more fun to have more logs in the water, but don't be shy about just starting with one, obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining, and be in touch, please. Have a great weekend and take care.